I wanted the students to look at teaching as a performance. That they come to teaching, but there's a script about teaching that pre-exists the students and is beyond the students. So I wanted them to see that. I wanted to see that there actually is a script. The same for identity, that there's a script that precedes the students. They learn to do their identities in particular ways because they live in a particular family, a particular society, and also they learn to do gender identity in a particular way.
The reason I picked this module really was because I have a huge interest in creative arts in general, music, drama, art, and I just said I'd like to kind of take another kind of direction and see what the drama could offer me as a teacher, and I suppose just improving my creative arts in general.
This semester we had to choose 3 drama modules and performance studies was one of them.
I chose this module because I had no experience in drama up until last year, and I did 2 modules. I really enjoyed it. It was a very positive experience. So I decided that doing a few more modules in drama couldn't hurt.
My expectations of this module were probably influenced a lot by my personal experiences of performance. Any performance I've done is probably an ensemble piece or myself in front of a large audience, so I kind of thought we would be studying that aspect of theatre.
When I found out that I'd have to write a solo piece, perform it on my own, write it on my own, I know we were going to be in class, but I really was kind of taken aback. I was saying, you know, there's going to be an awful lot of work in this. I'm going to be on my own. How am I going to manage it? I've never done something like this before.
I have this major thing whereby no matter what I start writing, an essay, a song, a play, whatever, like, unless it is literally perfect, it's like, no, start again every time. Like,
I suppose I'm kind of thinking more of my supervisor, like when I'm writing it, because I'd love for her to be able to see, like, this is genuinely what happened. Like, I was worried, I wouldn't have said it. Do you know, if it was kind of a minor classroom management thing, you'd kind of struggle on, like, but it was kind of a big thing, and she just took no notice. So I'm like, I want her to see, you killed me. To be honest, when I heard that we'd be writing and performing a solo piece, my initial thought was, can I drop out of this module? What am I going to transfer into? Just because I don't think that I would be the most creative person. I hate performing by myself. I've no experience of drama, so I did not feel confident to do that. Like, even to perform in a group, it's daunting, but once we actually started to break down what was involved, it seemed much more appealing and exciting.
So far, the audition was going as well as I could have hoped to. I'd completed the application form, name, contact details, age, all without the assistance of Mama in my head. We were challenged to not only write the script, but bring it to the stage and then every other stage in between as well.
The 7-year-old is under pressure, but your mum all the way through this knew better. Yeah. So just do that, my whole world, that last couple of lines.
An artist brings working knowledge of what's going on in the theatre to it. So the artist gets the students to do things that I could never do on my own.
The teacher-artist partnership for me allows me to be the artist. And generally when I am working in an academic situation, be it in a school or in a university or in a college, I have to be both the artist and the teacher. I have to try and create an artist experience for the people who are participating, and also with one eye on the pedagogy and what exactly are we doing here. And doesn't allow for the arts experience to flow. When you have the freedom to be the artist and be exactly as you are, working with your own, my own performers as a director or creating workshops, I get to be that artist, and I get to work with the students as if they're performers and not as if they're students. And that then allows them to see the benefits of the pure art form.
I think having an artist and a teacher really helped bring our performances to life. The teacher kind of helped us with the methodologies of writing or getting it down on paper, whereas the artist helped us bring it to life or put it on the stage.
It's helpful to be able to bounce ideas off of both, like, an artist and a teacher, and their thoughts, then you can blend them together to enhance your performance.
I thought it was really interesting working with our teacher and then having the artist come in afterwards. But then when the artist comes in, it's from a different perspective. It's kind of, how can we do this differently? How could we challenge your process at the moment? How could we take that a bit further? And while our teacher was kind of, you know, focusing on the written element, the script and all those kind of elements, which is really interesting and something that, you know, a lot of us hadn't had the experience in. The artist comes in then and kind of puts it on the floor, and you kind of see, right, I need to turn this way, maybe I could show this instead of writing it or saying it. Maybe I don't need to say that I'm in this place, maybe I can look around and kind of say, you know, from my actions people will understand where I am. So it was interesting for me.
I have an experience of writing my own autobiographical piece, and that's probably one of the reasons that I got the students to write autobiographical pieces.
The idea of using performance and autobiographical theatre to perform identity and to look at identity through that was something that I'd never done before, and something that I'd never even contemplated doing. So therefore I was interested.
Why does Bambi even get to play in goals all the time? Have you ever seen a 6'12" -year-old? Because I haven't. Monster.
You don't know anybody better than you know yourself. You have to pick something that you 100% believe in. That's, you know, it's not, you can't just say what would sound good now. It has to be something that comes from within, I think, that you really think about it and say, you know, this is an important moment for me and I'm going to really, you know, bring that out in my performance.
The hardest part was trying to find or select a moment in all of our lives that could become a performance, that had enough tension or enough drama to it that it could become a performance in itself.
I think the module kind of taught me that every moment is a performance, and that's something that's very meaningless to you. You can build it up to be something that's completely outstanding and really entertaining, and you just don't think that when you originally pick it.
Initially I thought maybe the students would benefit from this module on a purely practical basis, that they would be able to write a story, create a script and perform it. But after working with them and seeing how they have chosen quite personal stories and incidents in their lives, it really I think they're going to get a lot from this. They're going to get the actual benefit of performing a story about themselves, but I think there's going to be a strength that they'll get from this, that they have picked, a lot of them, stories that involve challenges, personal challenges that they have overcome, or incidents where they have learned something from the actions of an adult towards a child. And what happens generally, I think, when teachers go away from colleges of education, it might take them 5, 6, 10 years to realise who they are as teachers. But this group in particular, I think, will get there a lot quicker, because they have begun to look at who they are and their identity and what their role is. And I think that the benefit of this is far-reaching, I think.
Goal! Oh my God! Ireland have won the World Cup! Oh my God! They've done it!
Not only is it part of our assessment, but it's also part of something that we care about as well.
It's just a tiny bump that's rapidly growing out of the side of his head. I'm frantic. I think it's been very collaborative. Like, it was your story at the start, and then it became everyone's story. Everyone was familiar with your story, and so you'd be at home thinking of a tip for somebody else, like, I must say that to them tomorrow, and it's just like you're sharing your story, and it definitely became like a collaborative process. It was really positive.
This unity is fortified through the mission of hunting.
I feel like we kind of connected as a group as well. We had to share intimate moments or intimate experiences with each other and kind of guide each other through.
Even right up until the day we performed them, they changed and they changed again, and it was amazing to see the final product, because it really turned out to be great.
One thing I didn't notice that the students said, and which I really think is a very positive, is the fact that the stories became collaborative stories. So that notion of sharing and resharing stories, and
the whole notion that as we share and reshare stories, we shape and reshape our identities. So I do actually think I've seen that process happen before my eyes, but I'm surprised at the extent to which it was collaborative.
These acts rarely result in physical battles.
The main thing with my piece was finding the bigger story or the bigger picture in it, and knowing that my identity was similar to other people's experiences. So at the start it was just a story, it was me telling a story, and then from research I realised no, there's a bigger picture here, and in mine it was relationships between different women, and finding that bigger picture almost made you feel more confident that you weren't the only person that had ever felt that way. And then you could use those metaphors, in my case a lioness, in your piece.
It started off with just, say, me and my childhood and what I felt, and then I was saying, hang on a minute, everyone's been a child before, everyone knows what it's like to have the innocence of a child.
When I started that, I was looking for help from my supervisor because I was in this awful situation and I felt over my head. And then from performing it and stuff, I've kind of come to realise that everyone has been in that situation, and that to rely on somebody else to help you isn't the best thing to do, that you should be able to try and support yourself and find your feet. And I think lots of people have been in that situation and they could relate to it.
If you look at things as a performance, every performance can be done differently. So if we look at things in performance, we don't get stuck in the script, because we can do the script differently next time, or we can do the script differently in another context. So I wanted the students to understand that the script that they got, or the script that they're getting in our culture or in the college about teaching, is a script that can be rewritten and a script that can be changed, that they can actually do teaching differently.
Considering it's for a lot of them their first times doing solo performances, and also the subject matter, to be able to talk about yourself, talk about a story that means something to you, that has in some way reflects or affected your identity, or what has shaped who you are. To be able to do that in front of your peers in such a competent manner is just testament to the structure of the course and to the way that the students have taken it on board and taken ownership of it themselves. It was a fantastic experience to watch.
We were given ownership, and it was one of the only times really in college that we were given ownership to say, this is my own piece, this is what I'm going to do. A lot of the time you're working towards what you think other people might like to hear or might like to see.
We were in charge, we were the one that was going to perform it. And I think that power balance, as Lee was saying, takes a long time to set up, and it even takes you have to be willing to do it as a teacher, to allow them the time to do it, or just let them off and do it, and whichever way they want to go about it, it will be different, but at the end they will be much better off because of that.
I see teachers as agents of social change.
There were really honest, authentic stories, and for a story to be real, it needs to be told authentically with honesty, and that's what we got. We got really lovely presentations. There wasn't one story where your mind wandered. You were completely glued to each of the performances, and that is because they were personal stories.